Hi, please come in. Take a seat. Thank you so much for making the appointment. I know it's wild outside. Yeah, I know, I have seen weather like this before this time of year, but it's very, very unusual. Though it does afford me the opportunity to light my fire. Okay, I'm Dr. Matt. I'm your psychologist, and I'd like to just start very quickly by, offering you a drink. Because it is quite cold. It's cold outside and cozy inside. Tea or coffee or hot chocolate? Sure? Whipped cream? Sprinkling cocoa on top? No? You're screaming yes, but you're saying no. No, it's fine. No, we can crack right ahead. Okay. I'm a psychologist. Monday through Fridays, I work for a private medical company. And I, in all honesty, was finding myself a little bit frustrated with the limitations associated with private healthcare. There are a lot of people in this world that can't afford healthcare, let alone private medical insurance. And I decided that the occasional weekend and sometimes after work through the week, I open up slots for a schedule online. People can sign up, leave their name, schedule an appointment, and pop in. I guess it's like a drop-in session. So this is obviously your first time with me, and welcome. You have nothing to worry about. Think of it more of a conversation with a friend who has seen a little bit more than perhaps they should have, and a bit more experience with some uncomfortable situations. Good. Okay. So I know your name. I don't, however, know how old you are. I don't need the full date of birth, just how old you are is fine. Okay. So what we're going to do today is just... Okay, good question. The difference between a psychologist and a psychiatrist, and I did actually study as a psychiatrist for many years and then turned to psychology. A psychiatrist tend to always deal in medical intermission. What I mean by that is if a patient presenting a variety of symptoms, they will always treat with medicine, with usually chemical compositions. And what I was finding, and what I got a little bit discouraged by, is that drugs and medicine was becoming a first response instead of a last response. And I took particular issue with this because, in actual fact, a very small percentage of patients actually have a chemical imbalance. And it's generally only with a chemical imbalance that you'd be looking to treat with medicine. Apart from the rare exception where maybe, they're at risk to themselves or to others, you would medicate if the symptoms presented that. But as a psychologist, what we tend to do is get an idea of what it is that makes you tick, what it is that's maybe causing discomfort or interruption in your life, and then provide behavioral intermission, if you like, or we intervene in how you're acting on a day-to-day basis. So we might recognize a habit that's causing you to do this without you realizing it. So we restructure your behavior a little bit, try and apply a series of changes, I suppose is the easiest way to describe it. But we're getting way, way ahead of ourselves. This is our first session together. I'm not going to be psychoanalyzing you. All we're going to be doing is having a little bit of a chat. Okay? To get to know each other. You as well as me, although I will be asking most of the questions. And I just want to get an idea of who you are as a person, some of the things that maybe you've been through in life that you perhaps never shared with other people, and what exactly it is that makes you you. Okay? Okay, you comfortable? As I said, these questions are non-invasive. It's just two strangers getting to know each other. Okay? Okay, good. So, know your name? I know how old you are. I'd like you to talk me through a little bit about your childhood and what that looked like. Starting from, let's say, even go from your first couple of memories. Okay, no, that's helpful. I'll be scribbling down a couple of notes, but generally, it's, as I said, it's more of a conversation, getting a feel for you, and that I don't have no script. Okay, I don't have a series of questions that I'm going to run through. I'll meet you, talk to you, get an idea of where you are on the general happiness scale, and my questions will be formed based around that. Okay, perfect. Okay, so yeah, as a kid. And it was a happy time of your life? Okay. Now, as I said, I'm not looking for a right or a wrong answer. All we're doing is just finding out you as a person. Good. No, that's fine. If somebody was to come up to you and say, okay, what's the happiest moment of your childhood? What's the happiest memory you have? Mine too. Yeah, that's surprisingly common. Okay. When you were kind of approaching adolescence, just at that point where, puberty is about to kick in and you're starting to maybe feel things, your perspective on life is perhaps changing. Were you happy? Did you wake up with a smile on your face, go to bed with a smile on your face, or were you quite angry? Just before puberty kicks in and makes, monsters of all of us. Just before that. Okay? No, that's fine. Okay, so you're in your teen years. Your first partner, talk me through what that looked like, if you've had one. Okay. That's all right. It's fine. And if you could use between 1 and 3 words to describe that relationship, it can be something as simple as good, very, very good, pretty damn ordinary. It's a very colourful way of describing an ex-partner. Perfectly acceptable. I asked and you indulged. Okay. And at this stage in your life, if somebody had said to you, and I mean your mindset at this age, not where you are now, if someone had said to you, where do you see yourself in 10 years? Where would you have projected yourself to? Yep. Yep. I know it might seem like you have these feelings and these thoughts and sometimes even regrets, but try to remember that you aren't the only human being that suffers with regret, with looking back on the past and thinking there's unfulfillment there. There's things that you didn't do. And in all honesty, sometimes knowing the fact that other people have or are experiencing the same thing can be of no comfort, because when all's said and done, we want to be happy. Not everyone, but some of the opinion are, who cares about everyone else? I would like to be happy for a change. And this is very, very important. You're entitled to be happy. You're allowed to be happy. All right. That was quite telling for me as a psychologist, but also just as a human being. There's obviously a lot of passion there, and we'll take the conversation in a completely different direction now, just to keep things light. Did you have any pets as you were growing up? And what was it called? All right. It still counts. Absolutely. It absolutely counts. Okay. Yeah. You'd be surprised in psychology. Quite often, you'll be talking to a patient and you'll be getting to know someone, and you realize that pets, in a lot of cases, have all the best parts of a human being without any of the anger and jealousy and the rest of the not so nice things. A dog, for example, is nearly always, not always, because there are exceptions to every rule, and that's also important, but nearly always, as I said, the embodiment of just the nicest parts of a human being. They're caring, kind, compassionate, and they have nothing but your best interest at heart. Quite a lot of animals actually share this trait, and which is why human beings have such a direct link to them. Even cats, and cats get a mixed response, but cats can still love their owners, and the bond that a human being develops with their pet is really, really quite special. Some people don't really appreciate the bond that people can form with their pets, the friendship that they have, and when a pet passes on, these people can be really, really hurt, almost to the same degree as if a member of their family has passed on. Some people struggle to understand this, but the reason it's so telling and so significant is because that pet offered everything and asked for nothing in return, maybe apart from love. And so it's perfectly okay to be sad and to be quite hurt by these things. That doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you overly sensitive. It makes you a human being. And it's definitely one of our better traits. You can take that from somebody who knows all about the human trait. Yeah. Okay. So, I covered the early life, the teenage years. Spoke about your pets, first relationship. So I'm starting to get a picture of you and how you were forming your opinions on the world. And this is something in psychology, and I said it differentiates from psychiatry because we're treating with psychology, with how the brain approaches a situation, how it interprets a situation. People put themselves under far too much stress and strain trying to be a certain way. I have a lot of patients that come in suffering from anxiety, suffering from depression. And a lot of it, not always, but a lot of it can be attributed to the fact that they're trying to adhere to being a certain way. They're trying to be like a certain person, to look like something, to earn something else, to pass this, to buy that. And we put ourselves under enormous pressure. And anxiety festers, it thrives on this pressure, this doubt, this unyielding need to do things. Anxiety now in human beings is It's probably as prevalent as it always was. We're just better now at diagnosing it and understanding it. There are, of course, a variety of different kinds and severities of anxiety, but it's important to maintain. If you wake up feeling anxious, if you go to bed feeling anxious, if certain decisions in your life force you to feel anxious, that isn't weakness. Okay? Don't get upset. Don't overthink these things. Now, the reason you've come here today is because you're feeling some of this. You're feeling anxious. You're feeling maybe you're suffering from depression. Maybe you're missing the motivation to get where you would like to get in your head. This is why I became a psychologist. Sometimes all it takes is just a sit down and a chat with somebody who, as I said, has a bit of experience, a bit of knowledge as to how you can address these kinds of things, what little subtle changes you can make in your life, and the kind of impact these changes can have without us even realizing. Okay? So, we've got a couple of minutes left, and I understand a little bit, obviously, of your childhood, of your early teen years, some of the aspirations that you had. What I would like to kind of touch on is you as you are now, okay? Because sometimes, regardless of what happened to us, regardless of how the past has formed us, and some cases we are quite literally a product of our environment. Not always, but sometimes that is the case. The thing is, we can't change what's been. Okay? I know you touched on some things that we'll address in time, but it's important, at least at this early stage, for you to recognize that we can't change the past. Some people have very, very happy memories of their growing up. Some people have very, very painful experiences growing up. And the first stage is knowing that while we can't change it, we can alter the future, which is what becomes the next past. So if it is your past that defines you, the future that we're planning today, let's make that positive, let's make that healthy and constructive for you. So then when it becomes the past, if it is the past that's shaping you, we have something fantastic and something healthy shaping you, going into what makes you as a person. So starting from today, nothing but help and support. Okay? When you leave today, I want you to try and think of some of the friends that you have. Maybe you don't have many friends. Maybe you have a load of people that you talk to, but nobody you would consider a friend. If that's fine, then I'll be your friend. But if you do have a large or even a fairly small group of people, try and single out one or two and reach out to them. We always assume that people will judge us. We always assume that the worst will happen. And the vast majority of human beings are actually really, really quite lovely and will do almost anything to help and to support. I'd like you to reach out to a few of these friends and explain where you are today, some of the things that you're going through, some of the fears that you have, and see how they react. If you imagine, now this is an old one, but a problem shared is a problem halved. And while that isn't always true, in a lot of cases it is. Sometimes even just talking out loud can help. Okay? I also want you to remember, I'll give you my card. If ever you wake up or find yourself dwelling on the kind of thoughts you just touched on, then call me, email me. Obviously, I work Monday to Friday, but if I can't answer your call, I'll get back to you when I can, and I'll certainly get back to your email as soon as I can. I, from the bottom of my heart, care about you as a person. I can tell from spending 15-20 minutes with you that you are a good person. And sometimes the most important opinion we have, or the most important opinion, is the opinion of ourselves. And more often than not, it's the lowest opinion out of everyone that knows you, which is a crying shame. We should have the highest opinion of ourselves. We should think we're a good person, that we're adding value, that we're adding something positive to this world. Because everybody does. Everybody adds something to somebody else's life. Sometimes they don't even realize it. And that's one of the real shames of this world. You think of it almost as like doing passively good work. Sometimes you just being on the planet helps other people. Okay? Good. No, I mean, I hope you get home okay. If you get stuck or anything, just give me a call and I'll give you a hand to get home. Yeah, no, I love my house. I love it. I'm just far enough away from the town, so it's, surprisingly, that this might come as a surprise, I'm not really a people person. That sounds strange as a psychologist, I know, but a person is fine. I really like a person, but people, as a psychologist, even I'm not that much of a fan of people. This is interesting, and this is something that maybe you can relate to as well. People now are being raised almost exclusively by the internet, and this is deemed as a terrible thing. I think the internet and the online world can offer a lot, so much to people, especially people who already have some kind of anxiety or depression or something that isn't quite as it should be in their life. The internet provides an amazing respite, a safe haven almost. And it offers us a lot of things that we enjoy. It offers us the peace. We can sit there and listen to some nice music, read some things you're interested in, get talking to people you've never even met before. And when it becomes a problem is when this becomes too comfortable. When sitting at home is too easy. Talking to somebody in a different country is too convenient. And then, without even realizing it, sometimes something as simple as going to the shops becomes a problem. Because there are a lot of people there, and you just feel a bit uncomfortable standing in the queue for a minute. And it's very easy to fall into that situation for everyone. But I just want you to know, honestly, and I mean this sincerely, any issues that you have can be resolved, okay? No matter how deep they may or may not be. There are, as I said, there are very, very, very wide ranges of anxiety, depression, happiness, unhappiness. You don't need to be one of the extremes to feel like you can, you don't have to be extreme to qualify for help. Okay? Sometimes all a human being needs is another ear to talk to. Good. No, as I said, I know it's the first session's always a little bit all over the place sometimes, but it's enormously helpful for me, and it gives you an opportunity or a platform to get some things off your chest. Good. Okay. No, that's absolutely fine. Thank you so much for coming along, and yeah, I've already got your next appointment scheduled, so we'll see you for step 2. Take care, and please be safe on your way home. Thank you very much. See you soon.